Niners just signed wide receiver Willie Snead, about 29 years old, about to turn 30. What do you think of this signing?
It's interesting signing. I've actually been calling for the last few days. The wide receiver unit beyond Debo and Ayuk is a little, I don't know, concerning. So I've been hoping that they would go out in free agency and sign a wide receiver, and I was glad they did. They brought in a few today and signed Snead. Snead, it's hard to tell what you're going to get with him. His first 2 years, he actually almost got 1,000 yards in his first 2 seasons with Drew Brees on the Saints. So he was the second leading receiver on those teams. And then apparently had a DUI in the offseason. Saints suspended him for 3 games. And he never really bounced back with the Saints. He had like another good year or 2 since then. So he's kind of been bouncing around. He has potential to do it. It's a question whether he's still got that same potential that he had in the past. And maybe he just needs the right situation. So it's definitely interesting. But overall, I'm glad that we brought in some receivers and signed Snead. I just think, and I know we're going to go over it soon, but Juwan Jennings having a lot of drops is a bit concerning. Ray McLeod, we're not sure what he's going to do. So I think the signing's good. I think the more competition, the better, whether he makes the team and the 53-man or not. I just think it's good to bring in some more competition.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think it's interesting. I'm looking at his numbers. This guy essentially from 2015 to 2020 started more games than not. He played a lot. In 2015, he got 100 targets, 101. 2016, he got 104 targets. And like even as recently as 2020, he started 8 games, got 48 targets on Baltimore. Now last year he bounced around, was on Carolina and the Raiders. He might be washed. Wide receivers don't last that long. But from what I've seen in camp in the Niners, they have 2 wide receivers on this team. 2. Ray's kind of a gadget guy. Juwan Jennings, he's been good, and he just is having a pretty bad camp. So the more the merrier. Like Danny Gray does nothing most of the time, and he hasn't played at all with the starters yet. So maybe Willie Snead could actually play a little bit for the Niners. I think this is an interesting signing.
Yeah, I think it's a good signing. At least let's give it a shot. And I know we're going to go over the wide receivers later, but I'm glad that they signed him, bring in some competition. We'll see what he can do. He's out of Ball State, big hands, like 10.25-inch hands, and 33-inch arms. So we'll see how he does. It's a possibility.
I thought this was a need for the Niners. I mean, Marcus Johnson's in the concussion protocol. We'll say why in a minute. But it's not just that they needed to replace Marcus Johnson as a body in camp. I think they actually need to bring in more competition for this number 3 wide receiver spot because Danny Gray looks like he's a ways away. Only guy he can really beat on this team is Ambry Thomas. More on him in a minute. Yeah. So, yeah.
And they cut to Sear Mack today as well.
Yeah. So, Willie Snead, get ready. Learn the playbook because the Niners need you.